Hello, this is test. You know, there's a camera here somewhere, but I'm going to just leave it at that. Now, here's something interesting. This is just a test for the microphone. I think it's working. I got to bed so late yesterday. It wasn't even yesterday, it was today, it was so late. I'm going to figure out how to put the camera on because it's about time I made some videos. What am I doing? Not making videos. Anyway, I was watching some of these YouTubers, and there was one of them. I got on this thing where I was interested in learning more about computer programming languages. And then there were these all kinds of many gurus with lots of advice about learning this programming language, learning that programming language, how I make so much money working for these giant companies, and then how I left, got fired, hated my job, whatever. And they were interesting and I think informative, and I think I learned things. But then I looked them up a little more, and I found that despite the fact that I was learning very valuable information and they had a lot of good insights, that in other ways they were scamming people, that it wasn't real, that they weren't just a person that you meet walking around who decided to make a video and tell you about what's going on. That's the impression that you want to believe when you watch them. You say, oh, this is George Roberts or whatever the person's name might be talking to me about their life just as they pass through it. But when you look a little more closely, you find out the person's just a scammer. Or not a scammer, yes, a scammer. But that shouldn't be a surprise. Why is that a surprise? When you watch something on another media format, I don't know, do they still have cable TV? People still watch that, right? Is that real? Is that real? Is that a plain picture? Is that life happening, unfolding, unedited and unscripted? No, of course not. What about the other networks that do they still exist? The three or four that they had back in the old days? I think they do. Same thing. When you watch a show, do you think it's real? Do you think those are actual people just captured spontaneously in a moment? No, you don't. And even though this looks different, even if it's a homemade person sitting at home with their microphone and just talking, even like I am, it's not real. I thought about this string of words that I was going to say before I turned this on, but I wanted to remind myself that it's still this, what I'm saying, isn't scripted. I'm not reading off a script, but I'm remembering and reminding myself of something I've thought before. It's not just a spontaneous action that happened and the camera just is there by accident. And neither are these things. It's not just this homemade person talking to you. Sometimes it might be, but maybe even half the time. But it's a little bit of a letdown, and I'm venting a little bit because I had been watching the person thinking, okay, this is a really smart person just giving us advice and insights into this other kind of life. And yes, it was true, but it was also not true. And that's what I wanted to remind myself of and make this little video. It's not a video, it's an audio. Wait, is it still on? Yes. Thank you. And I will be making a video soon.